Hello, my name is Cisco Ortega. I am currently the VP of the Black Hole Oakland chapter, and I'd like to start this podcast off with a brief moment of silence and dedicate this podcast interview to someone as dear to the Black Hole heart, one of the co-founders, Dave Monzo, passed on Wednesday, July 24th, approximately 10:30 a.m. to the ugly disease of cancer as we know it. And our thoughts and prayers go out to our brother Dave. May God rest your soul and be with you always. Much love, Dave. Rest in paradise. Till we meet again, my brother.
Hello, Raider Nation. Welcome to Coast with the Black Hole Superfans. I'm your host, Raider Homer, and joining me is my co-host, Mad Max of the Loyalty Crew.
Hey, nice to be on again, man, and throwing this understanding what the Black Hole's about, and they're super fans. You know, first of all, I want to throw out a shout out to the Loyalty Crew, my crew, and all their hard work. Paul Savala, Ron Dusko, Doc, Cindy Hernandez, Diana Hart, and Adriana Luna, and Brian Smager for helping out, bringing us to where we need to bring today in this Loyalty Crew family.
Awesome, man. How long have you been working with those guys and gals?
Well, a lot of my crew's been there for about close to 5 years. We've been doing this, so you know, I have a long. They're there. They're veterans of what we do. You know, bringing the media, bringing the art, bringing the news, all the updates. Our resident football expert, Raider No Town Paul. You know, he's extraordinary with these Raider results and facts and all that. Young kid.
So are y'all like a club, you know, or just an internet group that, you know, shares graphic art and such?
Well, I started this in 2012. I got together with 5 guys. One of the original ones still with us is Paul Sabala. And we started this in just kind of just a spirit thing, you know. And I started making cards, these little cards that go around, simple little cards, put their name on there and that. And we blew up to 5,000 members that hold the card. You know, so we're kind of media, you know, just people who are just there trying to get the media and get stuff out for the family.
So what's the tie to the Black Hole?
Well, many years I watched them. I watch what they do. I've seen the good things that they do with the causes they have. And Polo, last show I had my president for Santa Maria. Polo came to me and asked me, hey, you know what? Can you help out with this? Can you do some graphics for me? I said, yeah, sure. And then he invited me into the Black Hole, and then he basically made me his media guy, his graphic guy. And that's how I got started with the Black Hole. And that was about in December. So I'm a new cat there. But as everybody knows, I'm hungry, bro. Feed me.
Feed them. All right, cool, man. So we have a couple guests tonight, members of the Black Hole. One being Cisco Ortega, Cisco Kid, the vice president of the Black Hole, the Oakland chapter, right?
Yes, that's the original Black Hole chapter that was started by Rob. And Cisco's the VP. He's been there a bit, and as everybody knows him as the Cisco Kid. Oh, good brother, man, good brother. Very heady, knows his stuff, and it's all about the Raider Nation for him, man.
Well, cool. And we got a very special guest for y'all tonight. We got the Violator. You know, the Violator has been representing the Raiders for a long, long time. So it's an honor to have him come on the show tonight.
Well, I'm very honored that he accepted our invitation to come on. It was kind of a little short notice thing, but you know what? I couldn't be happier at this point. The man means a lot to me, and I'm sure, as you heard, different stories throughout your interviews and that, the Violator is the grandfather of what we do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard a lot about him and his good work.
Definitely one of my favorite guys out there to look up to and see what he does and how he does so much stuff. You can call on him, and believe me, he's there. He drives miles and miles, hundreds of miles to get to some of these events, and he does it all on his own. He does it all on his own. He's been doing it for close to 30 years, but we'll get into that as the interview goes on.
Right. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead and give Cisco a call.
Right on.
Hello?
Hey, Cisco?
Yes, sir.
What's up? This is Raider Homer. How are you?
Raider Homer, what's up, my man? How you?
I'm doing good, man. Just getting ready for tonight's episode.
All right. Sounds great, man. Looking forward to it. Hey, Max, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not much. We got this. I'm glad you came in and able to talk to us and maybe give us a little bit more insight and history on the Black Hole. Plus, we want to know some things about you too, brother.
Okay. Sounds good, man.
All right, so Cisco, you're a native of the Bay Area, and you had a choice, who you would root for, So what made you choose the Raiders?
Well, my father was a big sports fan, and I like both baseball teams, the A's and the Giants. I don't have any recollection, any memory of any sort of 49er anything in the household. I do remember Raider stuff. I do remember seeing, a picture. I want to say it was like my first birthday, and I'm sitting on Santa's lap, and I got a white pullover sweatshirt that says Oakland Raiders on it. And so from that point on, I pretty much said, well, I guess I'm a Raider, and I do remember hearing stories. I'm my mom growing up, my mom said, God, I remember you just like your dad. And I go, why? She goes, locked into them damn Raiders. And I go, why? And she goes, that was your dad. I remember one time it was your birthday, and we had your aunts and uncles over, friends were celebrating your birthday. You were just a baby, and your dad was locked to the TV set watching the Raiders. And then as I grew up later, I realized that was the infamous Sea of Hands game in 1974.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was like, okay, that's the game that, my dad was watching, and my mom was furious because he was watching, not participating in my birthday. So, yeah. So I guess, that's just, growing up hearing stories and things like that. And, my mom telling me, yeah, we used to take you to games when you were a baby and, and all that. So, yeah, I guess it kind of just took its course, and a Raider I am.
Nice. Now, do you recall the first Raider game that you went to and who was playing?
Oh, man. Well, obviously I just told you that, my parents used to take me, as when I was a baby. So that I couldn't tell you, honestly, but it was an open Coliseum. But as an adult going on my own,
Yes.
Man, there's a group of us that we would all, about 5 or 6 of us, sometimes more, sometimes less, and we would go down to watch them in LA 3 or 4 times a year. And the 2 games that stand out was a playoff game against Denver, where we played them 3 times that year, because the first playoff game was against them in '93, and it was James Jett caught the winning touchdown in the end zone. And the other game that stands out was Bo Jackson's last football game. I was also at that game. And I was at Marcus Allen's first return as a Chief, unfortunately.
Ooh.
And we all gave him a standing ovation. Granted, he ran his butt off, and they ended up winning that game. But yeah, so to say what was my first, as an adult game in LA, man, I can't call it. I really can't.
You've been to too many of them, huh?
Yeah, man. Like I said, we used to go to at least 3 or 4 a year, and yeah, but that was when I was in my young 20s, man, and I could do it up for the whole weekend. Now it's like, man, I need a Monday to recoup from Sunday.
We're in that stage where it takes us a week to recuperate, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm already putting a number on my age, so I was my 4th birthday in 1974, so I'm knocking on 50's door right now. So yeah.
We're gonna figure that one out there for you, Cisco. You're pretty good with numbers. Then a question on top of that. Now, when you watch these games and stuff, what players stood out to you, and what became your favorite player of all time?
Well, I guess you could say as a young adult, I'd hear my dad talk about, the great players of the 70s, the Tatums, the Stablers, all the guys, the Villapianos, all of them. And so, obviously watching old NFL films, I got to, kind of see what those characters were about, and the renegades and the rebels of the NFL. But, when I really started watching football as a young teenager and whatnot, I'd have to say, probably Howie Long. Howie Long was probably the first Raider that I really kind of locked in on. I loved every time he would get a sack or a tackle, and he would just stand up and grab his two fists together and punch up his shoulder pads, up to his chest. And yeah, man, that kind of got me. And then, obviously the great teams of, that he was with Townsend and Mike Haynes and Lester. And so he was the first one I think I kind of gravitated to. But I mean, honestly, man, I loved them all. I loved them all. They were all great players to me. Yeah.
Now, did you ever get to meet him? I mean, himself.
Howie was about 2 or 3 people away. Mike Haynes, yes. Lester, Stabler, Bolitnikoff, Marv Hubbard, John Vella. Well, me and Villapiano, Phil, some people call him Foo. We actually became pretty good friends. So this game in November out in New York, I'm gonna get out there a couple days earlier, and Phil Jr. and his daughter Angela and I, and we're going to try and sneak in a dinner somewhere, and they're going to show me around New York and Jersey. So, yeah, I was lucky enough to, kind of become friends with some of them. And along that way, I kind of got my business partner. We got a small film production company called AD Productions. And it's with my good friend, ex-Raider special team wide receiver Kenny Shea.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
So him and I have kind of, yeah. So me and Kenny are pretty tight, and yeah. So yeah, I've gotten to know a few of them, and it's been a cool ride, hearing stories, especially Phil, man. I mean, that guy, he doesn't have a filter. I wish I could share a couple of the stories with you, but yeah, he might be like, Cisco, what are you doing, man? So yeah, I better hold those out. Yeah. I sent that to you, brother, not nobody else. So, but yeah, man, it was it's been cool getting to meet these guys and hang out with them, and Phil has told me some stories, man, about those guys, and that it's you kind of wish you were one of them, man. It was
Yeah,
it's a
that's,
funny
they
thing
make you
story.
feel like you're one of them too. You know, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
you know, and it's true. I mean, I can tell you the story. The first time I met Phil, it was at a game in New York. It was cold as shit, man. I tell you, I thought I dressed warm. I did, but I didn't bring boots. I forgot my boots, and my feet were freezing. And they didn't have those gloves that came out yet where you could still operate your phone, you know, and without taking your gloves off. So my hands were freezing because obviously everybody's texting and calling, hey, where you at? And this and that. And I remember, you know, my New York chapter brothers were like, hey, yeah, Villapiano's coming. I go, oh, really? And, you know, they introduced me to him and that. And then I remember him talking and goes, oh, man, I got to go to the car. And we're talking, and he goes, hey, come with me. And we start walking and going to his car, and he's telling me stories, and I was like, damn, man, it's freezing out here. He's like, isn't it? He goes, yeah. And he grabs out of his pocket, and he grabs a flask, and he hands it to me. He goes, there, get a little of that in you. That'll warm you up for a minute. So there I am walking down in the parking lot sharing a flask with Phil Villapiano.
Oh, my gosh. What a story.
That's a great
That's
story.
awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a lot of history just right there. You know, you one of your earliest memories was to see him hand. So I'm sure you remember the '76 Super Bowl, the '80 Super Bowl, and the '82 Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so you were there for it all. Yeah. So with that in mind, you know, how upset were you when the Raiders left Oakland the first time?
Well, man, I was 12 years old. I was about the time I think I kind of finding girls attractive and so I was you know, I was kind of, you know, keeping my eye in that direction and not too much in sports, because I figured, man, the girls are watching sports. I want to watch the girls. If I'm playing, I can't see them. So, you know, I was about the time, but I do remember the household being very bitter, very bitter, and you know, my brother was upset, my father was upset, you know, and aunts and uncles were upset and that. But, you know, I still kept on rooting for him. My dad, you know, unfortunately, he passed about a year after that in '83. So, you know, actually, I'm sorry, excuse me. And I was 13. He was in '84 when he passed. So about a couple of years after they moved, you know, he unfortunately passed on. But, you know, my brother then, he accidentally jumped ship. I still say accidentally, but, you know, I don't want to say he fully jumped ship because his blood, but he did.
Right, we'll cut him some slack.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? So, but yeah, you know, I was like, man, you know, and as I got older, going to A's games and that, you know, if you're familiar with the Coliseum pulling in on 66th Avenue, they got these logos, circular logos along the entrance, and you know, they had the Warriors logo, they had the A's logo, then they had the, at the time, Oakland Alameda Coliseum logo, and then they had the other one that was blank, which was where the Raiders one was. And I always just remember going, man, I really wish this team would come back, and I want to drive in and see that Raider logo on that hedge of you know, that what they got decorated, you know, with the circles and the teams. And I was just like, man, just one day I just wish they would come back. And then, you know, we started hearing rumbles about '93, and something fell through, and '94 they started heating up again, and in '95 it was, you know, announced, you know, Raiders are coming back, and Al Davis is signing the agreement. Everybody was locked into the, you know, to the radio station and just listening and hearing, and sure enough, man, they were coming back, and man, you know, me and my boys over here were just jumping for joy, and, you know, talking about we're getting tickets, and, you know, we all did, and man, it was just a memorable moment, man. It really was, you know, it was a memorable moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the excitement was high. You know, like you're saying, y'all were jumping up and down and making plans for season tickets and all that. That's, I mean, the Raiders.
Even before that,
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. But even before that, in '89, they played an exhibition game against the Oilers at the Coliseum, and we all went. And somebody, in the parking lot, down where a car would drive, it wasn't the lanes, marked off, and somebody spray painted a Raiders shield on the driveway in where a car would drive. And everybody's like, "Oh man, that's cool." And how crazy was this, that when cars would drive, they wouldn't drive over the shield. They'd went around it. And just out of respect of the Raiders, man. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. I was like, wow, those are true fans right there. I was like, man, and right there, that was just another thing to feel like, man, they feel it just like I feel it. And, over the years, when you talk to other fans or people that aren't even into football at all, and you tell them stories and they we all have our own stories and we all light up in a sense, and they tell you, God, man, I can hear the energy in your voice. And I say, yeah, man, I'm passionate. That's my team. I mean, to me right now, honestly, man, I could be sitting here and put on the Autumn Wind, man, and to me it's like the national anthem.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even get goosebumps, still to this day, it's crazy, and a few of my friends, and I'm sharing it with you guys, but one of my good partners, man, one of my best friends, one of my friends that I've known, damn near most of my life. I think I was probably 6 when I met him. I said, hey man, when they're lowering me into the ground, you're going to hire a mariachi, and they're going to be playing the Autumn Wind. Hey. And he said, you got it.
Hey, that would sound awesome. Mariachi, Autumn Wind. Yeah, that would sound badass.
That's them are some good stories, brother. That's true fanship. And, and it's about family here. You know what? I want to jump into something real quick here, Cisco. Now, can you give me a little background, a little history on the Black Hole, and how long you been there with the Black Hole and the vice president?
Okay, so history on the Black Hole. Well, I wish Rob was able to make this call, but he's, dotting I's and crossing T's on some important stuff that we got coming up. But so Rob and a few of the other guys, and I'm gonna say a few words on this. Hopefully, I don't get off track. I want to, have the man upstairs kind of watch over one of our guys. His name is Dave. I won't, out of respect for the families, mention his last name, but he's battling an ugly disease that you guys all hear about from day to day. And we just heard he took a little turn for the worse today. So, keep him in your prayers. But along with Rob, Dave, and Jimmy, and a couple other guys, they were just, in a garage getting ready to watch the Raiders, and this was when they were in L.A., and the morning game was the Cleveland Browns, and they're showing the dog pound, and Rob and the guys were just like, man, we're hearing rumbles about the Raiders possibly coming back, man, and you know what, man, if they do, we got to do something special. We got to get in the end zone. We got to get tickets in the end zone, and we got to be intimidating. We got to let the other team know that we're there. We got to do something. We got to do something. So once it was announced, that they were coming back, then they just started spitballing different names, and I can't even remember some of the names, but I do remember a couple of them were pretty ridiculous, and we were like, thank God you guys didn't go with that one. And I can't even remember what it was, but it was something stupid. And I was like, oh, Rob knows it. Rob knows it because every time, once and again, we'll get together in his little man cave and watch boxing and whatnot, and they'll start talking about it once the tequila starts flying and the beers start getting down your body, into your body. So, I'm sure he'll share that, get the opportunity to share that with you at some point. But, so one of them just ended up coming up with the Black Hole, and they just all kind of looked at each other and was like, Black Hole. All right, Black Hole. I like that. And that was the name. And then the tickets came out, and one of the original members knew somebody in the ticket office and arranged for them to get the seats in 105 that are there now. And at first they didn't want to give it to him, and you know, being being Raider fans, you know, we get what we want, I guess you could say, right? And you know, they ended up getting that row of seats, and they were like, man, we got to do something. So somebody printed up shirts that says "The Black Hole." They all bought them, all got them made, and they wear their Raider hat. You know, a couple of them will put a little bit of, eye paint on. You know, look more like a baseball, eye black for, baseball players. But, they're just, a little strip of silver, a little strip of black, and that was about it. You know, there was no real, super fans per se, that. I mean, there was a couple out there, but, nothing major. But, yeah, these guys are just rowdy, never sat down, always stood up, always made noise, and it evolved to what it is today. And you can't say Black Hole without somebody knowing what you're talking about.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
And it's important to get the details like that, like Section 105 out there. But how much has it grown?
Yeah.
From just 105.
Well, it started. Well, yeah, it just started, taking rows back, row 2, row 3, row 4, and it kept growing. People were like, I want tickets in the Black Hole. And before you know it, you have seasoned people that had their tickets 10 plus years there, and it's been, it's been remarkable. I sit back and, I was at the last game last year, which we all thought was our final game in Oakland, and I always record every game that I go to. I still record it, and I rewatch them at home and kind of dissect them and see what went wrong and what we could have did and all that. Not that it matters, right? Game's already over.
Right.
But being a football passionate Raider fan, that's what you do. So I remember calling Rob because I was sitting there watching it, and I keep hearing the name Black Hole, the Black Hole. Black Hole. And I'm like, Jesus. So I started from the beginning. I'm like, you know what? Let me rewind this. Grabbed a little piece of paper and a pen. I started jotting down every time they said the Raiders, every time they said Oakland, every time they said the Black Hole. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in that game, they said the Black Hole more times than they said the Raiders, more times than they said Oakland. They said the Black Hole about 26 times throughout that last home game.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, the Black Hole personifies the fan base, and for the a major network, to pay homage to that, and recognize the value and the importance of the Black Hole. I mean, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
So, how long you been vice president there, Cisco?
I've been going on, I'd say about 3 years now, 3 years. And, we really didn't, aside from Rob being, the co-founder and president of the main chapter, as you guys may or may not know, or, for your listeners that may or may not know, we got over 20 chapters, 5 are international. And, the rest of those have a president and a vice president. And, I've always kind of been, Rob's right-hand man on, whether it be planning, events that we got, organizing the tailgate with our good buddy, the Superfan, Raider homie Droopy, him and I tackling along with Ray and a few other the guys, getting the tailgate and the canopies and the banners all hung up for the game day, and we're out there at 6:30 with the ice chest full of beer, full of Corona and Modelo's and pitching tents and tying down and zip tying everything together, ready for you guys to get there on game day and celebrate with us in the parking lot and all that. So, Rob was like, man, and I just I guess you could say my relationship with the chapter members, Rob was like, man, everybody else has a VP. I don't have a VP. And I'm like, well, how come? And he goes, I don't know, man, but I need one. And I go, okay. And I go, well, who are you thinking? And I wasn't thinking myself. That's just how I was not thinking. He goes, well, I'm looking at him right now. And I was like, what? And he goes, dude, I want you to be my VP. Why not? Dude, you're right there with me, everything. I'm like, okay. All right. So it's kind of how it came about, man.
Cool story, brother. Cool story. Shoot.
Great stuff, man.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into more of the, you know, what's ahead? What's ahead for the Black Hole in 2019? You know, what do we got going there, brother?
Well, you know, I can't give it out yet, but we're going to have a new website. We're going to revamp our website where it's going to be very, well, it's somewhat user friendly now, but it's, you know, it's a few years outdated. You know, we've been growing. You know, we've been growing, and we're going to continue to grow. And you know, that's one thing that we really, really needed. And you know, I can't, you know, I'm not at liberty to kind of mention some of the things just yet, but we will be announcing that stuff very, very soon. And but we're going to have a new website, and a lot of features that current members have been asking are going to be added, and I'll just leave it at that. And the members that are listening will probably have an idea of what I'm talking about, because that's been one of the main questions all the time. So that is going to be resolved, and that's going to make a lot of our members happy. And but yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of things in the works, and again, I kind of wish maybe we would have had this interview after everything's launched in a couple of weeks. But hey, we can always circle back with Rob and do another one if you guys want on the new and improved Black Hole, I guess we could call it. But man, we got some really, really great things you know, we're putting together. And man, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting, and man, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come surface in you know, in some time, you know, in just around the corner.
Nice. And you can go to the blackholefans.com and sign up today.
Yeah. Well, en route right now is our replenishment stock. So, you know, I mean, there's some limited gear in there. If you would have signed a membership, they have a few sizes left, but not, you know, common sizes, larges, extra larges, and double X's are out of stock currently. But they're en route right now. We're just waiting for the delivery at our replenishment center. And once that happens, you know, for the people listening out there, just stay posted to our Facebook page, the Black Hole Facebook page, and you know, I'll be making postings there. And obviously, Max, you do a great job of filtering out that information to everybody, and I'm sure you'll continue to do that. So yeah, I mean, you know, we got some really good stuff, new merchandise coming. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun 2019, man. And plus, it's our last year in Oakland, so we're going to try our best to make it memorable every home game. Make it a memorable one.
I can't wait to.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't really have to answer this, but so would y'all have any plans for Vegas?
Well, you know, the Black Hole is a company. It is an LLC, and you know, with any other business, you kind of gotta roll with the times, right? So, you know, to answer it, you know, all I can say is the Black Hole isn't going to stop. It's going to continue to grow. So,
that's what I want to do.
You know, with that, we couldn't. You know, we're grown to, like I mentioned, you know, over 20 plus chapters, and I mean, I couldn't even count how many members altogether. And for us to just pack up shop and close up, we're not doing our members the justice that they deserve and the loyalty that they've shown to us. We can't turn around and close the book on our guys. You know, we all look at each other as a family. We all call each other family, and you know, that's what we are. You know, we are a big family, and it would be a sad day for us to, you know, close up shop and say, well, you know, they're no longer Oakland, we got to go. So all I can say is we will continue moving forward.
That's fantastic.
That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. That evolution we were talking about, you know.
Yeah,
Continue to roll with the times and the situations we get into.
you got it.
Do you have any info you'd like to share on some upcoming events that the Black Hole is hosting?
Yeah, we got one actually coming up in a couple weeks. Actually, our Baja Mexico chapter president is Juan Ramos. He's doing a fantastic job organizing our first annual Silver and Black Summerfest in Rosarito, Mexico. It's going to be held at the Bombay Club August 2nd, Friday, August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We're going to have a fishing trip early morning Friday. I think they had like 2 or 3 fishing boats out there. Going to take people out in the Baja. They're going to be fishing, come back, and we're going to have a dinner, a welcoming dinner for the people that purchase tickets. And then the next day is our big day. We're going to have a big like day beach party at Club Bombay, and we're going to have all kinds of cool things, obstacle courses with the Superfans and you know, and the Raider Nation, whoever wants to participate. A concert with one of the little rappers. She goes by Little Ma. She's a little Latina rapper there in the Rosarito. She's going to perform for the young kids and us big kids too. And it's going to be hosted by my girl, the mistress of the Black Hole, and myself. I hosted it last year. It was a different group of folks doing it last year. They had Rodney O perform. It was a blast. It was a good thing, but they for one reason or another, you know, hung up the clipboard, and Juan Ramos picked it up and got, you know, blessings from those folks that did it and said, hey, it's yours now. You want to take it and run with it? Go right ahead. And Juan has put together an incredible weekend in store. So, you know, we're gonna, like I mentioned, Mr. Snyder, we got some tricks, you know, some things we're going to be doing to interact with the crowd. I keep teasing that we're going over a bunch of things, and I'm sure you guys seen a couple of the videos that we put out there that, you know, I keep telling them, man, we're the 2019 Sonny and Cher. So for those folks that even know what Sonny and Cher is, you know, I'll probably, once again, dating myself, but, you know, I'm sure you can YouTube it or something, Sonny and Cher, and see some of the programs they had back in the day. But yeah, man. So we got a great networking relationship, man. We just have to have a good time with good people, and you know, that's what the Black Hole is. That's what the Black Hole members are. You know, we're all like one big, you know, group of family, and you know, her and I got some things in store for that day, and I don't want to ruin any surprises, but yeah, we're all gonna have a good time, man. We're all gonna have a good time. And then later on that night, they're actually going to have a concert from Big Mac, Tone, Name It, a couple other guys. And excuse me for not remembering their names. They were kind of like just added within the last month or so. We got my man Sloan Bone going to be kind of headlining it. You know, my man Sloan's going to get on the mic and do his thing. And then Sunday, we're actually going to have a little wine tasting tour and end the day with a nice barbecue that Juan has set up for us. So yeah, man, it's going to be an epic weekend, man.
Sounds like it.
Looking forward to it.
That's awesome, brother. Now I like to get in a little thing. I've called it's Raider Talk, and that consists of maybe a little story or something that tells us, you know, what happened out there. What did Cisco, get into, or what did he hear, kind of thing. Now we have our next guest is going to be coming on, surprising us, is the Violator. So, do you have any stories about the Violator? Anything you could tell us that on your meeting the Violator, or anything like that?
Oh man, yeah. Matter of fact, I do, and you guys heard me talk about going down to LA, 3 or 4 games a year. And I want to say it was about, might have been 1990, 91, sitting in my seat. We're all, rooting on our Raiders, whatnot, and I see this guy out of the corner of my eye walking down the walkway. And I'm kind of looking at him, and is his face painted? I'm looking, I'm like, man, he's got a bandana on. I see the 57 jersey, and I'm looking at it, go, man, he does. His face is painted. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. All right. And sure enough, man, as he got closer, I see the little spikes on his shoulders, and I'm like, oh, this dude is pretty badass,
Yeah.
So I lean over the rail. I think I probably spilt my beer on the people in front of me, and I look up to him. I say, hey, man, hey. And he turns and looks up at me, and, fist pumping wasn't even a thing back then. I just raised up my hand. I wanted to give him a high five, and he leaned over and, slapped we slapped high fives. I said, man, you're fucking bad, or I don't even know what I said. I'm sorry for cussing. I don't know if it's PG okay. or whatnot, but man, I slapped him high five, and I said, man, that's it. And I looked at my boys, and they were like, dude, that dude is cool. And then, that was the first time I seen the Violator. You saw, getting back to what I talked about before, you really didn't see, any real fans dressed up in I guess what then was, costumes. You've seen old NFL films when the Raiders were in Oakland and they had the original Darth Vader out there, and one guy had this like crazy mask on, and that was about it. That's all you really ever saw, when it pertained to Raiders and seeing old footage of them in Oakland. But in LA, that was the first guy I saw and the only guy I saw in the times that I've went. And man, that was my first recollection of what we now call, Superfans. And, I told Violator many, many years ago, when we were established here in Oakland, and obviously his character has evolved to what it is today, as we all know him now. But man, Wayne has just done a phenomenal job, representing not only the Raider Nation, the Black Hole, but who he is as an individual. That man, we've had some heart-to-hearts, and he's one solid dude. I have to say that, man. I got much love for that man. And, one day, I got this old Raider helmet, and, it's got the old Jim Plunkett face mask, the two bar. And man, I got about 6 Hall of Famers on there, and just an assortment of different, Raider players that, aren't so memorable. James Jett, I could throw that out there, but Montoya, just a few out there. But I had Violator sign my helmet, and I don't have, and my, good buddies with Willa, and a lot of them out there, but to me, I was like, that it was the first super fan I remember that I have knowledge of, and I had him sign my helmet. And after he signed it, I said, you are going to be the only, again, when I had him sign it, there was no label called Superfan. I said, you're the only fan that dresses up that I'm going to have ever sign my helmet. And he looked at me and he goes, are you shitting me? I said, nah, man. I go, I don't know if you remember the moment, but I do. And I told him the story of him walking down the aisle, and I saw him dressed up, and I go, man, I reached up to slap you a high five, and you slapped me a high five, and you went about your business, and we went on watching the game. And he goes, man, damn, are you kidding me? And, he gave me a big hug, and yeah, to this day, he is the only super fan I'm ever going to have sign my helmet. Because to me, he was the original.
Yeah.
He is the ambassador of the Raider Nation for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I remember being a kid and seeing him, on Monday Night Football and all that. That's back before, direct TV and all that. So I'll date myself with you, man. Right. I mean, I remember Sonny and Cher, that's cool. Dude.
Right on.
remember when they were kids, so I got you guys beat. So,
All right, cool, man. Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Homer. I was passing to you, bro.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, thanks for your time, dude. And I think it's cool that your son is in a band. I was in a band, so tell him to keep going, man. You know, music is something that you can really learn. You can express yourself through, and it's very productive,
right.
man. So
yeah, I keep him motivated with it. No, but hey, man, the thanks are 1,000 times on my end, man. I appreciate what you guys do, and I think it's great for the Raider Nation that people like yourselves take the time to put stuff like this together, and it's getting people that kind of may know each other through social media and whatnot, but social media doesn't have voices unless you're posting a video and stuff, of them, doing something funny or just talking about where they're at that moment, but to share moments and with people, and some of them people will probably at the same game I was and be like, oh man, I remember that game he talked about, Bo Jackson's last game, and all those types of things. And I remember my first time I saw Violator, and it just lets us know, man, the nation is the nation. There's a lot of duplicators, there's a lot of people, you hear nation everything, it's ridiculous how they copied us, but it's fine, but we are one nation and one family, and by you guys doing what you're doing, man, hats off to you guys.
Well, you're doing something right if people are trying to copy you, you know what I mean? And y'all guys, y'all laid the way for the rest of us, y'all laid the path for the rest of us to follow, so the honor's all mine, dude.
Yeah. I appreciate it too, brother. And we'll be seeing you up there in Rosarito.
Yes, sir. Yep, can't wait.
All right, well, we're going to let you go. We know you got things rolling and that. We appreciate it again. Thank you for coming on the Coast to Coast show with Raider Homer and Mad Max, brother.
All right, my man. Thank you, guys. God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, I got to tell you what, dude.
Wasn't that a good one? Wasn't that a good one?
That was a good one, dude. And I got to tell you, I am so glad to hear that the Black Hole has plans for Vegas, yeah, there's a lot of talk about there not being a black hole in Vegas, but you heard it here, Raider Nation. The Black Hole is gonna have a presence in Vegas.
Exactly. We're gonna put a stamp on it, like we do with everything else we do. That's one thing we do is live by Al's words, commitment to excellence, and that's what we want to bring.
Hell yeah. Like I said last episode, man, you deliver, dude. This show hinges on your connections, man. So I appreciate it, dude. That was a fantastic call, man.
Oh, it sure was. I like the little skinny stuff we found out in there, and some of the stuff that he led into that we don't know. That's what it's about. That's what we want to know. That's what we want to know, so we can bring it out to the fans, the people that follow each and every super fan and watch the things they do. We're real. We're ordinary people. We just got that energy, and everybody has it. It's just, we're driving right now, and that's what it's about. The next person to pick it up will drive just as hard, and I know it.
Oh yeah.
We're good. Now our next guest is just going to be off the chain. We're going to let him ride. You know what I'm saying? Violator's going to let us know all kinds of stuff that's going on and his thoughts and let's pick his brain, brother. Let's pick his brain and let him pick ours.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, well,
awesome.
Like you said, our next guest is the Violator. But you've done promotions for him for his brand Motorsports. So
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it has all his. How it started was just watching how he puts it out there, and I seen he was, it's only one man. I've got a crew behind me. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it was an honor to be able to come in there and just grab it, and then start posting it. He noticed it, and he says, Max, you know what? I love what you're doing out there. You're doing it. So I started just making designs and stuff. In Motorsports, he's got, his V57 cigars. He's got shirts. He's got guerrilla lines there, you know. But it was my honor to be able to pick that up in him, you know, noticing that I was out there trying to do things good for the nation. Because believe me, the Violator does pay attention.
Hey, so he has that shirt, just do you. You can't fuck that up, right?
That's right.
Man,
That's right.
I need to get one of those.
Yeah, you do. And I know the story on that. That one is just basically telling them, do your thing, man. As long as it's positive, and this would Violator said, as long as it's positive, do your thing. Don't ever let nobody impede in that. Do your thing, because if it's the thing that's coming from your heart, it's a good thing.
Well, there you go. You're getting a little worked up now, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting worked up. Just a Violator, man. It's
well, let's get him on, man.
Let's do it. He's sitting there. Right.
Hello?
Hello, Wayne?
Yeah, what's up?
It's Raider Homer. How you doing?
Good.
All right, here, let me merge the calls.
Yeah, this is me. Hey, Violator, Mad Max, brother.
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. Glad you were able to come on in and talk to us, man. This is a big honor for us to have you on the show. You know, it's all our second show. So it's an honor to have you on, brother. Truly.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.
So Max was just telling me that he was doing promotions for, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, Motorsports?
Motorsports is right. Yes, absolutely. And I thank Max for that. Just out of the, you know, the kindness of his heart. Just like, look, I believe in what you're doing, so I'm going to use my gift and just help you promote it. So, you know, it's people like that, man, that makes the nation as strong as it is, in spite of all our troubles.
Right.
Oh, you just gave me chills. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it. You know, I do everything from the heart, just like you do. I take homage off what you've done and take it and roll with it, brother. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So, you know, before we get into, you know, the Violator persona and all that, tell us, you know, like, when did you start Motorsports, and, you know, are those, you create those slogans yourself, like the just do you can't fuck that up, right?
Absolutely. I started Motorsports in its official capacity in 2009. Now, it was in operation under another name since 93. So the concepts have been with me forever. All those slogans and sayings, those are sayings that I use to motivate myself, and like I said, hopefully somebody else can feed off of that same fruit.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, branding yourself is something that a lot of Raider fans do, you know, and I think that we all learned that from Al. You know, can you relate to that? Do you think you kind of picked that up from Al?
Al was way ahead of his time. I'm gonna tell you what Brandon did for me as a kid back in the early 70s. I saw that shield, and I've always been into knights and the armor and all that stuff, you know, medieval war and all that. So I saw this pirate head in a shield with two swords, and that image I could never get out of my brain. I was hooked from the first time I saw that. And then the colors were silver and black. Come on, brother.
Oh, yeah.
What better combination was that?
None.
You know. So that's what initially hooked me on the Raiders. Then my thing was, how the hell can I get to California where they're at to go see them, you know? So then I started the quest of, you know, and I had been watching the Rose Bowl and all that stuff in January when, you know, you got the palm tree swing, people still in short. I'm like, that's where I need to be. So I made that a quest, and I made that a quest in high school that that's where I was going to go after I graduated. That was going to be my home. So basically, when you hear yourself living the dream, that's what I'm doing.
Nice, brother.
It's been one hell of a journey, huh?
The journey continues. It's not over.
Right. Well,
that's right. That's right. He always says that, brother. I love that. I love that. It never is, man. And what's the other ones we should do, brother? About the seeds?
You keep planting seeds, brother. Just keep planting. Don't worry about where they're at. Just keep planting.
That's right.
That's cool.
Right.
See, y'all have this little connection, you know. So, you know, I heard there's a story to how y'all two met. You know, can we get into that?
Yeah. Well,
I'll let
him.
Max tell that part.
Yeah, I met him a couple years ago, as I was saying earlier. I met you a couple years ago. I was there for the Skip Thomas thing with Alonzo, and I was walking by, and then what got me was, man, this is the guy that I wanted to run into. I'd been to games, I never got up to, but I finally ran into him, and you recognized me by my art, man, you know, and that was pretty dang cool, you know, because he went up there and said, man, I was coming towards you. He said, man, Max. I was like, oh, my gosh, let me take a picture.
Yeah.
I was so excited. You can't find that picture, but I got a memory of that times, you know, so that got me. But the first time we met was in Pomona.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Well, like I say,
cool.
man, it's been a friendship that's grown. And look, I look at it this way: we're learning from each other. We try to push each other along. And like I told Max, since I've met him, we all in the nation have a gift to add to the pieces of the puzzle that paints a picture of us when the day is said and done. So the sad part is that a lot of us are not looking for that gift that we've been blessed with to use. You don't look at someone else's gift. What's my gift? How am I going to contribute? Those are the guys that are trailblazers within this family of ours. Once you find out what you've been gifted with, take that and multiply that. So, and that's what I was raised to believe that those are the seeds of the future. So you just keep planting them. Don't worry about where you plant them. The bad part is if you don't plant them. You know, you've got a generation next that's behind us that's going to continue doing what we're doing because they, like us, grew up with it.
Exactly.
Preach
and
it,
that's
man.
that's so true. It's so true.
That's not my intent, but I'm just sitting it like I feel it, bro.
Hey, I'm
No,
feeling
that's
it
the way
too,
it should
man.
be. The way it should be. Homer, you had a question for him?
Oh, well, I mean, I just wanted to say, you know, yeah, I've been a fan of yours since I was in my teens, man, and I was stoked to see you subscribe to my channel, man. You know, you've been an early supporter of mine, you know, and I really appreciate it. You know, we've talked a little bit through Messenger, and it's an honor to have you on, man, and I hope that my piece of the puzzle, you know, is a good one for the Raider Nation to be able to learn and hear maybe some stories and learn from the people that, you know, they wouldn't get a chance to if they, you know, because they can't go to the game or whatever. So I'm hoping that this channel continues to grow and with the help of people like you, Wayne. So thanks. You know, I really appreciate your support.
Well, like I told you, Homer, it's always a pleasure. And my thing is, like I tell most people now, we are the storytellers. So, you know, their stories that came before us, their stories waiting to be told. But in essence, we're writing chapters of this book, man, that's endless volumes. You know what I'm saying? You always hear me say generations, and I'm looking at 4 or 5 generations that I know personally over my 28 years of doing this. And it's just you can't make that shit up, bro.
Yeah.
Of course that's one of my shirts I'm plugging, but
That's
you
cool.
can't make this up.
Plug away. Plug away.
It's just what it is. And I say we are unique as a fan base as you will find in the league because first of all, our team is unique in itself. You know, this is Al's dream coming into fruition right now. A year from now, we're supposedly getting into a state-of-the-art arena, which is all he dreamed of as an owner. So I'm so proud for that fact. The only downer to that is that they had to leave the beautiful state of Cali to do it.
Yeah.
But then you got a lot of politics that got in the way of all that. And, you know, the struggle for, 10 or 15 years up in Oakland, we've been hearing stories, it's going to go through, it's going to happen. Same thing when it was in L.A. He was thinking it was going to happen in L.A. They were dragging their feet, and I'm saying the people in power, the money, dragging their feet because pro football they didn't feel was that important. Well, in lieu of that, we've lost 2 professional football teams. Now one of them come back. You know, you got the LA Chargers who've left their home base, moved up here in hopes of, you know, all the owners are trying to do the same thing, man. Make more money, increase their brand worldwide. We're a global brand right now, but I don't think we relish in that or we appreciate that for what it is.
That's right. At them shirts and them hats always going to say Raiders on it. You know, as long as they say that, then we roll with it and get stronger.
And don't change that shield, because that's what draws us. That's the bond that we all have between us, is that shield. Whether we can speak each other's languages, you know, of course there's cultural differences, philosophical differences, but on game day, we unite under that shield.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I love about the
like
Raider Nation.
It's like Parliament's old song, One Nation Under a Groove.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
Getting down for the funk of it.
Yeah, for the funk of it.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Violet, I wanted to ask you a question. Go ahead.
No, Max, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask you, you know, when did you, you know, I know you said kind of went through it, but what year did you become a fan? And then when did you want to started your venture in the Violator, you know, the persona of the Violator?
Well, I've actually been a fan since 1970. So first, you know, then my trek to get to LA took from 1970 until 1977. So then I'm in LA, they're still in Oakland, so I'm saying, okay, now I got to figure out a way to make those trips to Oakland to attend the games. Meantime, 83 rolls around, they won their Super Bowl, and then they moved to LA. Well, come on. That's like Christmas in July, man.
Yeah.
So at first game there, I'm there, and sitting in the stands, it was all cool because it was new to the city, you know, and I just like, wow, this is crazy. I'm right here. I remember standing in the peristyle my first time there. It's like, wow, I can't believe I'm standing here. And I used to watch this watching the Trojans play for years. I'm standing right here on historic ground, man. So, and that was a nice 13-year run down here. But like I said, in 1990, I started getting into it with some of the fans because I would never sit. Well, hell, we're at a football game. We're not at a baseball game.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, let that energy go. I come to the game to let all that stress from the work week go. And so I was saying, oh, this is what they talk about with LA Cool. So I just, so several people around was like, man, you're always making noise. I'm like, that's what we're supposed to do. So I'm figuring, let me come up with this idea I got in my head for visual effects. So they'll possibly get it through that, And I figured somebody would. So I didn't have a lot of money at the time, but I put my little funds together, hit all the thrift shops I could, and I came up with like a sort of a Mad Max looking outfit. But it wasn't what your average fan wears to the game, so it stood out. I'm like, this will make my point. So, and Max can explain it to you what it looked like. Well, you've seen the pictures. They're all over from back in the day. And that's called evolution from then until now. But that's growth. That just don't happen overnight. So I appreciate that whole process of it. But anyway, back to that. So my first day into the Coliseum dressed like that, like I was, NFL Films happened to see me. The guy was changing film, and he looks up, and I'm just kind of like creeping down from the top of the Coliseum to my seat, just for visual effect. So he starts beckoning me down to him, and I'm thinking, who is this guy? So I'm walking on down, taking my time, and so when I get down to the wall where he was, he says, "Where do you sit?" And I pointed to my section, which was on the 50th, right behind the bench, and he says, "Okay, I'm like, who is this guy?" He says, "Man, I like that get up." I'm like, "Well, this is the new way that I'm coming to the games from now on." So, we didn't get into no discussion. He just said, "Okay, I'm back into the game," And a few weeks passed, and I'm looking at Inside the NFL back in the early days now with Steve Sabol. And what do you think I saw as on the opening monologue? My mug shouting. I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
So as the months go on, you know, well, actually, it was a year or so later. You know, I'm thinking, that's cool, man. But, you know, I'm not thinking, how could I get a hold of Steve Sabol? You know, that's way beyond my realm. And think about it. We didn't have the internet and all that back then.
Yeah.
Mm.
So a few years go by. The team invited me to a post-game dinner. They wanted to see who I was, you know, because I'm getting all the folks around me. Look, you got to get up. You got to stand up and make some noise. Matter of fact, in that whole process, I changed my seats from the 50-yard line to the end zone. That was all metal back then. We used to call it the Pirates Pavilion. So I'm like, okay, I can stump on this and really make some noise. So that was the thing that I started. Nobody comes over here and sit, and especially all the kids. I got them involved. You guys are young. Get up and stomp around. You know, I was just giving a signal, hey, let's get up and make some noise. So, and I knew that echoed all through the Coliseum, so the other team couldn't hear it. So that's how that part of it got started. I call it, you know, Raider March Pit at that time, you know. And so over the years, I ended up running into Howard Long, and he says, look, he says, I see the media starting to find you and follow you around. He says, they like that. Keep doing what you're doing, you know, because they had no problem with it because they knew I'm trying to pump them up and also the fan base. So a few years go by, and, you know, like I said, the media they started wanting to find out about me. Well, I'm just a construction worker going to the game to let Austin Stadium, you know, but I love my team. So I ain't going to sit there and not say that. That ain't what football is about. You know, we can't be on the field hitting somebody, but we can raise hell in the sand, you know. So when I see fans that just there like, oh, I'm here, I'm like, wow, what a waste of your money, man. Yeah, you could have watched that on TV. And then I'll meet fans who finally get to come to the game in person, and their level of appreciation is off the charts. Like, wow, can't believe this just happened. I'm doing this. I'm like, and I tell them one of my other slogans, enjoy the moments, because it never happened like that again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So in essence, that's how I got started with this. And like I said, this year will mark 28 years of donning that war paint and the shoulder pads and boots and all that gear to just show how deep that passion runs.
That's awesome. Awesome. Homer, you got anything?
Well, so 28 years, right? You've been there when they were in LA, when they were in Oakland. So when did you join the Black Hole?
I've been like an unofficial member of the Black Hole pretty much since they started. They indoctrinated me, I want to say 2 years ago officially as an official member, you know, because I never joined any booster clubs or none of that. I consider myself an ambassador, so I'm free to go wherever I see fit to go. It's all about unifying everybody, not really, you know, getting in the cliques, which I always hated, you know, even down here. It's about, look, everybody, let's come together, man. But, you know, I'm looking at it a little bit different than I guess the average fan, you know. But, but yeah, like I say, man, the journey continues, and like I say, looking forward to the future. Not really sure what's gonna happen, you know, but I'll be there in spirit if I'm not there in person.
Yeah.
But like I said, all these years, just basically trying to plant those seeds, and now I've living to see them kind of come up. I'm starting to see the harvest come up.
Yeah, you see them nice plants coming up. Like you know, when I look at you, I look at that, and then I go, you know, because that's what I do. I go out and kind of recruit. You know, I look at the person, I look at the fan, what they got, and the heart that they got. Them are the ones I'm trying to draw into us, you know. And when I do that, I see that Violator in them. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody, you know, I grew up, you know, my dad was my hero, what have you, you know, but there's certain things in life that you look at and you say, man, that's where it's at. And now you seeing all the plants growing up, meaning all these super fans that came out. How's that look to you, man? How's that really look to you?
Actually, it's great. You know, you'll never hear me bashing another fan for expressing, you know, their love for the team, because that's what it's about. My only challenge is to be real with it, because people will challenge your faith and that fandom that we call it. They're going to test that to see. And like I say, through thick and thin, I've been there, you know, and I hate losing, but we've lost for decades on decades, but that love never vanquished one bit. Now it's like we're anticipating, like a kid anticipating Christmas. Oh, yeah. What's this new year going to bring? What's the year after that going to bring? That year is the transition year, 2019. So, you know, but that's what it's like, brother, to see all these guys and to see the youngsters that saying, you know, like you said, Homer, I've been watching you since I was a teen. I'm like, wow, that's a blessing, bro, because that means you've been around a while. And they've heard the stories probably from older parents or whatever. And then when they meet you, they connect all that together. So it's like, wow, that's always amazing to have those conversations. And nowadays they bring pictures to show you.
Yeah.
And that's mind-blowing, man.
That's what I'm talking about, the connections there. And this is why, you know, the show, and I talked to Homer, and he's giving us the forum to do this. You know, that's what I was talking about. It's about, you know, bringing these out, bringing some of these stories out that people don't know about, you know, and
right. But that's nothing we talk about on a daily basis, you know, or hardly ever unless somebody inquires.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. That's true, Ben.
Yeah, I mean,
so like I said, with the forum that you guys have, I always encourage everyone that I, you know, interact with, use it for good. You know, there's enough bad media, and you know the drama that goes on. It's enough of that out there. These same kids that we're trying to influence positively are seeing that too. So give them two sides of the coin so that they can make an intelligent decision of which way they're going to go. Because you can't straddle the fence, because you're going to mess up your body parts, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
You got to jump on one side or the other. Come on, you can't. You know what I mean? So
there ain't no teeter-totter.
There ain't no teeter-totter. No. Either all in or you get the hell out. You know how you say, walk the plank.
That's it, man. There's no tomorrow. It's a lifetime, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lifetime.
And you're trying to live it, what? Today.
Yes, exactly.
Well, see, that in itself creates a sense of urgency within itself. You know, if you're self-motivated, if you're driven by a dream or a vision, I call them, try to attain that, because it's going to take you some steps to get there. But appreciate the process.
Yeah, that's very true, man. Now I know you go out and you do. I mean, I've seen you over the years, numerous events, numerous things you do. Now, the last time I seen you, because we had Polo, Santa Maria's president out here, the Black Coast Santa Maria out here, and I know I seen you there at Santa Maria. Had a great time. Well, what did that mean to be in that parade? You know what? It was just something else. But how did you take that out? You know, how'd that be?
This year was year 2. Year 1, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to Santa Maria now. You know, I wasn't familiar with the area, but I'm going to support a fellow friend. And come to find out, it's basically a rodeo town. That's the big celebration in that city, the rodeo. So I'm like, wait a minute. So we're in Raider, you know, picture Raider Nation. I'm thinking we're on a float in that parade, but it fit. The irony of it is we fit, because that's something that the town hadn't really seen up close and in person. So they were just like, wow, Polo actually brought these guys here. Yeah, we're here. We're in person. You know, so this year was great because after the parade, we got to intervene at that fair with some of the same people that were lying in the street. So, you know, they got to know us even better, you know, take some personal photos and stuff, which, like I say, that's just fleeting moments of time, man, that'll last forever.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's that Brinco experience.
You know, I've
so
yet
it's kind of like community, like doing community service. That's the way I looked at that.
Yeah, that's
Good.
cool. You know, always, you know, reaching out. Yeah, community service, helping out the community. You know, that's a great thing about the Raider Nation also is, you know, it's not just about dressing up and going to the games. You know, you're always helping the community with, like, charity events and just being there and listening to people and talking to people. A lot of the super fans that I've talked to, that's what they say. That's, like, the number one thing that they like to do. And a lot, you know, they're all humble, and you're humble. I mean, it's fantastic. And I've yet to get my picture with you, but I'll be at the explosion, so you're going to be there, right?
My plan is to be here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tribute. It's going to be a tribute to also for the Violator and Gorilla. So that's going to be awesome setup there.
Yeah, I got to get my picture then.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying, I really need to get that picture with you, man. And Cisco was saying earlier that he got your autograph. So you when I bought those V57s from you, you sent that card. So maybe I can get that card signed by you.
Oh, we can give you another one, brother. Not a problem. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Like Cisco says, he's got a helmet with all these Hall of Fame players, and you're on it, man. You're on it with all these people. That's how we consider you, brother. You're our Hall of Fame guy, you know, and everybody I talk to, all the super fans that are coming up. I've got one coming out soon, Toxic Raiderette. She's coming out, and all the questions I get from her is the Violator. You know what I'm saying? So I'm filling in the little pieces that I know. And you just bring so much excitement and just pumped, man. The same way you are, you pump people up. Me and Raider Homer here were talking about just before you came on. Boy, we both are pumped. You know,
yeah.
So we're both okay. Let's bring it down a notch. We're pumped, man. You know. So,
but again, that's that seed you heard me speak of earlier. That's the seed right there. All you need, you heard one of my others saying is get some. That means come close enough so I can get something on you. I just need to rub elbows with you, and you infect it. And that's part of the mission. Infect them one at a time. That was my mindset when I first strike the paint on with two fingers. Let's go to war.
Hey, how long does it take you to get ready?
Right now, it's about a 2-hour process.
Dang.
Transformation, brother. Yeah, it ain't just a hat and a shirt. Nah, it's a whole mindset. So it's a ritual, and you've seen it, I'm sure. You know, it's been taped and video, but that's just a whole transition from me and you talking right now to that other guy looking at you.
That's right. That transformation, you know.
Yeah.
Transformation.
Release the beast, as they say. Yeah.
Because I told a story and see, I've met you without your stuff on, you know, so, you know, I've seen pictures, but like I was telling Homer, hey man, you better take good snapshot because you could be standing right next to this man and you not know that's a Violator, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the difference of that persona that you get from.
That's the beauty of it, man, yeah, that's the beauty of it.
To the Violator, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They both get me pumped up, so. But like I said, you know, that's something for people to experience on their own. But like I said, watch out. That man may be standing right next to you.
Well, the term for that is clocked in, brother. You know, it's clocked in and then I'm off. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I've been studying, man. I've been studying, like I said earlier in earlier shows, you know, part of you know, I enjoy, like, you know, learning about the super fans and then learning their, like, secret identity. So, you know, I've been studying your face, so I'm not that guy that's just standing there like, who are you? You know, when we do meet, you know.
Right. Well, it's not so much that it's a secret identity. That's just an alter ego. That guy is inside all the time. But on Sundays, he gets to come out.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's going to be more. He's just to come out and play. So
Yeah.
that's the mindset. I'm only out here for a few hours, so I'm gonna wreak havoc for that amount of time.
And I see you on TV, bro. That's what I said. I loved it when you said, hey, you know what? You see people just sitting around there, man. I can't sit up. They tell me, hey, man, I can't see. Well, they can stand up. You know what I'm saying? You're a role.
That's what I stand up. That's
You're
what I
a
used to tell them. Stand up. Yeah, stand up and help me. Basically, stand up and help me.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
It helps.
So like I say, if it hadn't been for the whole LA Cool thing getting to me, it probably would have never come out. You know, but like I said, that spirit's been there. But to go and actually put some attire on to show you how I'm feeling and how I think you should be feeling, I credit that to the LA crowd.
I mean, you
awesome.
started it all. I mean, you got it going, that's for sure. And now it's just blown up.
Right. I won't say I started, but look, I put my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
And I call that stomp in the yard. Stomp in the yard.
Bringing in the dust, man. Shoot. Stumping it up. Stumping it up.
That's just part of leaving. That's part of leaving footprints, man. You got to stomp the yard to do that.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, you got any? We got into the real talk already, bro, because you've let us know so much stuff that's going on, and the Violator, and I call that little segment real talk, but we real Raider talked it. You know, we Raider talked it.
It was all real, bro. Look, I appreciate it.
I know it is.
Just
I know it is.
Look, keep inspiring the next generation, like I said, and keep doing your thing and keep it positive, and just keep going forward, man.
I will.
Most definitely.
I know I will. And Max, with your help, dude, I think we can take this a long way, and inspire that younger generation that's coming behind us. I mean, that's a goal of mine, is to record, the history of the Raider fan base, because, 29 years. I've been a fan for 29 years, and so, I've been in the club since 2006, but I didn't really understand, the what I call the subculture of the Raider Nation, where, they travel like that and come together as a family. So I really appreciate that, and so I want to make sure that that's recorded. It's not just a fan base. It's not just, there is no off season, there's a group of people that are really diehard and they care about each other, and, this is how it went. So I plan to continue, So.
And I'm going to leave you with one phrase. It's a way of life.
Yes, sir.
And that's mic drop.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
I appreciate
it.
Man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. Look, like I say, keep doing what you're doing. Build that listening audience. And like I say, anytime I can, be of some counseling or whatever, hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always there, brother. I just want to make sure Violator's always taken care of one way or the other. And that's mine.
Yeah.
That's in me. You know what I'm saying? That's in me. That's nobody else.
Well received.
Appreciate it, baby. Appreciate it. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the Raider Homer and Mad Max show here, coast to coast, brother. And like I said, we're looking to expand this and let the Raider Nation know. Give them that story. Give them that inside. That little skinny, as they call it, out here. So really appreciate it, brother.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I say, let's just push each other around that circle of life, brother.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's awesome. So
change only as strong as its weakest link, man.
Right.
That's right.
That's why you got to represent the Raiders with pride and poise and a commitment to excellence, and be faithful to that.
Right.
That's right. Faithful.
And I want to tell our listeners out there, go to motosports.com, and you'll find the Violator stuff in there. Go ahead and get some, like you said.
Get moto-sports.com. That's it.
Right, cool. Well, have a good night, Wayne.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, bye.
You too.
Peace.
Wow.
Man, I was feeling giddy, dude. Like a little kid, I was fanboying out, man. Hold on a
Hey,
second.
I apologize getting excited myself. You know what I'm saying? I kept throwing stuff out there, man. It's just like I have so much. You know, there's so much there. But you know what? What's going to happen is you're going to have him as a guest on your Superfans show.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we're going to get more in depth there. He will be back on our show here.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, we just threw that together tonight, Raider Nation. So that was a little gem right there, man. There's more to come with Wayne, you know. The Violator.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
with the ambassador working.
Hold on a second. Let me let's throw in a little surprise right quick. Hey, Mad Max, man, we got Joker Raider on the line right now, man.
Oh my gosh. Was this one the surprise for me?
What's going on, Max? How you doing, sir?
Oh, good, man. I surprised him last week with somebody bringing in favor, so I guess he's returning the favor and bringing my boy in here. Raider, man. So
what's going on, brother? Everything's good, man.
Yeah,
good,
man.
good,
Welcome back to the channel, dude.
Well, that's good to be back.
Yeah, well, it's the last time I seen you was there in Santa Maria, you know, doing our thing there, you know.
That's right. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll see each other again at the Raider Nation Explosion, right?
Yeah, I'll be there
too.
too.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, Homer's coming in. He's gonna do his thing too, you know. So, like I said, we gonna take care of him. We're gonna show him the way we do it out there, and you know, he's gonna have his Raider Homer head and all, so he's gonna be ready for it. We're gonna welcome in as the super fan in there. You know what I'm saying? Because he does love the Raiders. He is a big fan, and he's super about it. You know, so we'll bring him in.
Hey, wait, hold on, man. I don't like the term super fan. I'm a diehard fan like everybody else.
Well,
there you go.
This is good introduction, brother. We all diehard fans. This is good introduction.
Man. Nah, just kidding, man. Hey, so
yeah,
how was your vacation, Joker?
That was pretty good. You know, got to go and see a few people I haven't seen in a while, and you know, kind of relax and just get away.
Yeah, man. Took the family, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, just paid a visit. Saw a couple of people. Like I said, man, just visit my family, see how everybody's doing. It actually went a lot quicker than I hoped it would, but you know, it is what it is. You know,
it always
fun. Oh, it's just good to get away. You know, it's good to see some people, and you know, when I get up there, I try to reach as many people as possible, but it's just tough. I would actually have to be up there for about 3 weeks to be able to actually do everything that I need and want to do, but it was good.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So you'll be at the Explosion then, right? The next event you're going to do?
Yeah, I'll be at the Explosion. I just booked my my flight, and I finalized my flight, my hotel arrangements. Should be a quick trip, just like Santa Maria was. Coming on Friday. I'm going to get there Friday morning, so I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. We're leaving out, and we'll be able to, you know, get back at home in a decent hour. So, you know, but it's just good just to get out there, just to see everybody, talk to a lot of people. You know, at first I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but man, seeing that lineup of people that are going to be there, talking to people, it's one of those things that I know I'd kick myself in the ass if I didn't make it out there. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Yeah, I've got some flying in, flying out. I'll be doing the New York trip. You know, of course, the Rosarito, New York. Then trying to head back to do the Explosion. Then here in Phoenix, and then I've got something happening here in Phoenix, and then, you know, helping out with the other Raider you know, groups here in Arizona. So, got a heavy schedule, brother.
Yeah,
just like you, man. Just like you.
Yeah. I just, you know, so basically a couple of nights ago we finalized our travel arrangements for the Explosion, and then the very next night we finalized the travel arrangements for a home opener. So those are covered. London is the next thing. I'll probably finalize my travel arrangements for London tonight or tomorrow. And then, of course, I got Indianapolis, Houston, and then there's some other things that are in the works, but still up in the air on those.
Sounds like a heavy schedule on your part, man. In season. And one thing I always appreciate you, brother. Anytime I've ever said, "Hey, ask," gone on the backside, ask, you made it down. You know, we did the Skip Thomas thing a couple of years together. It was just awesome to be able to say, "Hey, brother." And I've said this many times. We just pick up a phone or I inbox you, you know, and say, "Hey, can you make it?" And you know, I know at one point it was like, well, you know, I'm going to try. When you finalize that sucker, I was jumping up and down, you know, because I try to set up stuff for last year's Skip Thomas and try to get all the super fans we can, which turned out great.
Yeah, that was a great event. I was happy to be there for that. You know, I was honored that you asked me, you know, that you know, invited me there the way you did. I was like, yeah, no, most definitely, man. This is going to be a great event. When I got out there, you know, it was, you know, just like every year. It's a great event. It's a great thing to be part of. You know, to uphold his legacy and remembrance. You know, Alonzo, you know, he's a great guy. You know, I enjoyed my conversation with him. And, you know, so, you know, it's definitely, you know, there's often throughout the season, there's probably about 3 or 4 events that you just can't miss, that you don't want to miss. That's definitely one of them. And just getting together is such a special time, man. It really is. You feel the love, you feel the appreciation, and you know, it doesn't matter what our record is as a team. Those moments are what makes everything worthwhile. Then you realize, you know what, this is a lot more than just football. This is family, bro.
Yeah, that was first time I get to meet Sister Soul Taker. Now, is she going to be coming to Explosion with you?
Yeah, she's going to be there at Explosion. She's going to be at the Explosion with me. So definitely looking forward to that. She's going to be at the home opener, and she's going to be in London. I really don't think she's going to miss too many events this year.
Good.
You know, I think so. You know, it's definitely, you know, it's pretty cool to be able to travel with her. It helps with our relationship. It helps with, you know, it's just one of those things as a couple we'd like to do, and it really brings us closer.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
that's what I need. I need a Raiderette like that. So any of you single Raiderettes out there, let me know. Hit me up. 512-298-2407. All right. Speaking of great conversations, man, and family, dude, we just got off the phone with the Violator. So Raider Nation, that beep, and then the second beep you heard, that was Joker calling in. He you know, so, but yeah, we were just talking to the Violator, man.
Yeah, that, you know, like we talked about, that's one man that definitely had a huge influence on me, not even just as a Raider fan, as a person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Wayne always has something to offer to you that sticks with you. You know, if you have a question, he has the answer to try to give you a little bit of knowledge to you. Actually, I spoke to him today also. I was texting him back and forth, and we were talking about something. He brought something to my attention. One of the things he always talks about is planting that seed. Yep. You know, reaching out to people, you know, spreading the love of Raider Nation. You know, you might get sidetracked. There's a lot of people out there that try to, you know, try to break it down a little bit, break the spirit a little bit. But for the most part, man, it's all love in the Raider Nation. You know, nobody wants to be proudly hated in the Raider Nation, man. You know, we're family. It's all about love here, you know, and that's something that he really preaches to me. You know, he doesn't really get into the hate stuff. He just says, you know what? It's all about love, man. Just plant the seed. Just plant the seed for the next generation, because we're not going to be here, but they're going to carry the torch, and they're going to be bigger and stronger than we were.
Exactly. So. And dude, man, we were fanboying out, dude. Me and Max. Man, it was funny, dude. Yeah, but he carried it, man. He carried it, dude. That dude is something else, man. It was a pleasure to talk to him. You know, I can't wait to get him back on the channel also.
He's something else, man. Like I said, that's one thing you'll see in common with every one of these guys, man. That respect, that love, that looking up to, you know, I don't mean like looking up, looking up to each other to keep ourselves level on that field. You know, we all have that heart. It's how you put that heart on that field.
Definitely, most definitely, man. And like you said, you say look it up. You look up some out of respect, but if anybody's ever had a conversation with him, he's never made you feel like you're any less of a fan than he is. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He's always
Exactly.
very genuine. He's down to earth. You know, if there's one person that is a fan that dressed up, that's probably one of the most famous, it'd be him, that has the right to actually have a little bit of demanding of respect of his position in Raider Nation for so long, and he just doesn't do that. You know, and that's what makes he's so humble. That's what makes him such a wonderful person, is the fact that you have a conversation with him. He makes you feel like you've known him all his life, and you know, he never puts himself as bigger or better than any other fan in the nation. He's just, man, I'm one of you guys, man. I do this for the love. I do it because it's what I like to do. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. And when he sees somebody else that has that same passion, man, you automatically click.
Yeah, I agree. Being around you guys. And lastly, we had Fabian on there. What's up with them compas, man?
And from what I know, I text Marty Marr today, and he's doing good. You know, everybody's just excited for the Raider Nation explosion. I know they're going to have a table set up. They're going to have their own little section there. So I'm looking forward to that, because I'm setting up with them. And also, I believe that Toro from Infamous Beatlot crew, he's actually going to have it set up. Trying to get them set up in the same area that we're in, so we can be close together, keep the party rolling. You know, he's really excited. He wants to get out there with that tablecloth that I just hooked him up with. He was blown away by it. It exceeded his expectations, so he can't wait to roll that out at the Raider Nation explosion. So I'm looking forward to that. I really had fun making that one for him. I liked the graphic, and the fact that he was pleasantly surprised that made it even more worthwhile.
That's awesome, brother. Yeah, I know the bull. He can hook up some stuff. We had that last year, the micheladas with lobster tails, and oh my gosh! And then the food, he can get down. Bull definitely gets down.
Hey, Fabian messaged me the other night, man, and I sent him my number. I got to talk to him, dude. Man, that dude is a ball of energy, man. He got me all pumped up. You know, it's 11 o'clock, and he's getting me all pumped up. I couldn't even go to sleep. Yeah, man. So the compas, you know, they were. He was talking maybe I could get a show with them coming on. So I'm hoping to make that happen, dude. They were name dropping you too, man. You know, they were talking about you being a part of that, dude. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about being part of compas. You know what I mean? Just for them to include me in that. You know, when I'm with them, I feel like I've known them all my life. You know, we joke around. We have a similar sense of humor. We laugh the whole time. You know, it's always a good time, and never really an awkward moment at all. You know, and Fabian, you know, meeting Fabian to me has been a really special moment in my life. He's a great person. Not just, you know, I know, like you say, he's a ball of energy. He's got so much vision for what he wants to do with his brand. It's amazing, you know. And there's times if I'm like, whatever certain way, I might ask a question, and he can get anybody pumped up. Just the vision that he has and the direction that he wants to take his brand to is really good. And you know, he's helped me through certain things as far as you know, if I felt a little bit, you know, needed some advice or something, he was there for me. When we went out there for Santa Maria, he drove down, came and picked me up at the airport. We spent the day showing me around L.A. You know, we hung out in L.A. for the day before we went up to Santa Maria. You know, and this guy, you know, he has a heart of gold, man. I can't say nothing bad about the guy, and I can't say enough good about him because of the fact that, you know, he's just an awesome individual, a great person, and I got a tremendous amount of respect for him.
Awesome.
That's cool, brother. Yeah, he's good. Now, what's up with what's going on with the JR60 brand? I see a poster out there of the Santa Maria event that we had. That's not for sale right now, right?
Well, what I got right now is all right. So right now, the only thing I have on there is the 4x6 photos. the One Nation from Santa Maria.
Of the Unholy Trinity.
Yeah. So I got that out there. Those are for sale right now, and I put it out there as a way to anybody that really wants to get any of those individuals in the photo, maybe to sign it. I give it away for free with every hat purchase. So if anybody has purchased one of the face-off hats that I've got for sale on the website, that 4x6 photo goes along with it. I sign it, send it to them, and hopefully they can get the other people that are involved. It really came to like with talking with Jersey about it. She was like, "That's awesome, bro. You got to put that out. You got to put that and make that available on your site for people to want that, because it's probably, that's an epic photo. That's probably one of the, when it comes down to it, it's probably one of the most distinguishable photos out there right now."
Yeah, it's a great photo. Hey, I gotta say something, dude. Y'all Photoshop Wade Raider in there. How come you didn't Photoshop me in there, dude?
I went through, what happened was, one of the homies was actually there, but he was looking down. So you couldn't see nothing but the top of the head and a t-shirt. Right. It looked like a headless person. And I was like, damn, man, it just looks like a blank space, an empty space in there. So I was just going through my phone, and, the picture was there of Deadpool. So I was sitting there, I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect photo to put in there. And basically the reason why I chose Deadpool is because he had a lot to do with that One Nation logo with me, helping me out with that. So I appreciate him. He's definitely he's also another person that if I have questions, man, about art, about anything going on, he's somebody I also talk with. I think I spent on the phone with him after I had the interview with you, the first one, that was the show that we did. Probably like 2 days later, I was on the phone, and we spent about 3 hours on the phone, man, and just talking about it and everything. So, I kind of feel like I owe my dude a little bit of respect, so that's why I put him in there.
Awesome. I mean, I was just kidding, but I am a little bit jealous, though, But hey, I've been talking to Wade a little bit, here and there. He's busy though, but put in a word for me, man, because I'm trying to get him on the show. I still got my script ready for him.
I'll do that. I'll let him know next time I speak to him. I'll let him know I'll tell you one thing about him. He's a very reserved person. He's really cool, man. Dude is really, really cool. Very smart. One of the most intelligent people I know. And but he's kind of like there's things I want to try to get him to do. Like I want to get him with us over there at Santa Maria with the Black Hole. And he was like, yeah. He doesn't say no, but he doesn't say yes. He just kind of like feels things out. You know what I'm saying? So he's that type of person where I could tell him, but he'd be like, yeah, okay. But he just has to feel things out for himself, Well,
I got to talk to him. I got to talk to him at the TNBC second annual bash, So, I'm hoping that he can make it on the channel, dude, because that would be a badass interview. Especially with him, going to the draft and announcing the pick. I mean, he has a great story, and now I'm learning more from you about y'all's connection. I mean, I really want to get him on, man.
Yeah, he's definitely a good person to have on there, definitely. And he's very talented, man. That video that he put out, oh my gosh, last year with the Christmas video, that thing that's unmatched, man. For him to do what he did, he said it took him a while to get that done, and he was working really hard on it, and it came out perfect, man. It was like as if it was made by the NFL shops itself,
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was like, what? Is this like a play on the commercial with the real actor and all this and that? It looked good, dude. He did a damn good job.
No, it was excellent, man. I shared that sucker around. I don't know. I'll tell you what, it probably moved up to 2K the first day I pushed it, man. That's what I said. I know what I could do out there. And once I see that, I said, oh, no, this got to go. This got to be pushed out there. And no lie, I think that day it busted easy, 2K easy. I mean, it wasn't even a 24-hour period because I graphed everything. Anything I do, I graphed, okay, I could do this, I could do that, But I worked, a lot with Charlie and Charlie Boots. So, I'm able to graph it out, tell him, okay, give me this, and I can get X amount on there, K's on there for you. And then, over the time, he knows when I'm talking about. When I tell you I can get this, I'll get that many views on your, for your video, what have you. So that was a great one, man. I laughed. I still watch that circle.
Yeah.
I haven't said
Oh,
it
yeah.
before.
That's a classic that you could watch that for years and never get old. It's just hilarious.
There's some other podcasters, I'll go ahead and put it out there. I want to get you on Splatterhead show. He's the president of the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole. I think that y'all would mix well, and I think that it would be a good spot for you to land next, man. So we can talk more about that later, but that's that's what we were talking about.
Well, actually, when you shot the text message to me last night, I was laying down, I was trying to fall asleep, and I actually listened to the last show they had, and it was kind of, like they were saying, it was a little bit dead air, but what do you call it? In the beginning, I was listening to what they were talking about.
Yeah.
That I guess they might have had a caller that didn't approve of them of the content, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
So they were kind of talking about that. It was kind of hilarious to me because the way they're just laughing it off. I don't see how anybody could sit there and say who you can have or who you cannot have on your show. You know what I'm saying, or what you can air.
That's what Fabian was talking about, that there's a lot of haters out there, man. And he was saying you just blaze your own trail, man, and you keep going, dude, because, you show respect and love to the Raider Nation, and then that's where you really fit in, And he just said, watch out for the haters.
What happens with that usually, and that's something I encountered, and I talked to Fabian about it. It was like, Fabe, that's the power of the knowledge, man. He put me onto some things. He said made some suggestions about some stuff. He said, you need to check this out, man. Check this out, and then kind of like get a better understanding of what he was talking about. And I did, and it was he's very, very smart. He's deep, man. He's deep. I work on emotion a lot of time. I'm kind of high strung. I can be laid back, but when I get upset, when I get pissed off, and you push my buttons, it's pretty much over, man. I'm out for blood. I want to slaughter you, your family, everybody that's involved with this. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, yo, bro, you just got to draw it back a little bit. Take it in, take it easy, and that, basically what he did was kind of, talk me down. But what happens is this, man. People know who's real and who's not. I'm lucky. I'm a fan. I dress up, and people recognize me as being the Joker more than it does as being JR60 brands, my clothes, or whatever, patches, anything I put out, hat. That stuff there, that's actually, all that's doing is trying to help me offset some of the cost of my traveling. I'm not doing it to get rich. I don't need it to be relevant. You know what I mean? People know me as a person. People know me as somebody that was there to help you out. They're there to donate if I can. There to just be there. I'm somebody you could talk to. I'm somebody you could shake my hand. We can have a conversation. That's what makes me relevant. The JR60 brands doesn't make me relevant. What you put out as a shirt or a hat, if you're worried about what you put out there as a shirt or a hat or a graphic or whatever, and you're trying to use that to be relevant, you're irrelevant because everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, that's just the way it says. And like you said, somebody that's like that, they're going to fizzle out and burn out anyway because they don't have any personality. They don't have anything to back that up with, and they don't have the ability to make those connections with people. And when they try to make those connections with people, the real people out here, they see what it's all about, and they know you're full of shit. They don't want to deal with you.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. What you're saying is just fake, because that's what I call fake. Hey, people might get upset, whatever, but I'm straight talker. But I'm a straight talker. I say it like it is. If I tell you I care, I care. If I tell you, hey, you know what, push my button, you push my button, and that's not where you want to go. But the hard part is there. And like I said, I've been doing this for a while. As far as my art, my graphics, doing that. So I don't need nothing on that. I do it because I love doing it. I love, that people love me doing that, but I don't need it. I mean, I've already established myself as far as that artist and what I do. And you're always going to have that person out there that's mad because you're not doing. But like my brother used to say, if you don't turn that wheel, you ain't going nowhere. You see, so
Yeah.
that's what it's about. You know, if you don't put it into, and I believe the sacrifice that we do and what we put into it is who we are. You know, at the end of it. You know, at the end of it.
Exactly.
That's who we
I think what makes you different, though, Max, is this: you do all the graphics, you're the behind-the-scene guy, but that's not it. You're not the man behind the curtain. People know who you are as a person. That's what makes you different. You know what I'm saying? People know Max, the person. They shake your hand. They want to take a photo with you. They come up to you. Whenever I see you, the first thing I do, I don't want to give you a big hug. You know what I mean? I got nothing but love for you. So, and that's what's different. That conversation is the big difference than some of these other people. That the only conversation that they'll have is, you know, whether it's a tweet or a freaking, you know, something on IG or whatever, or Facebook. Come on, man, you're done, but you're a keyboard hero. Nobody knows who you are. You know,
faceless.
The thing different with you is that people know who you are.
Yeah, the knockoff faceless shirt peddlers are the worst, dude. And you know, like I said, dude, I'm glad that I met you, you know, at the draft, dude, because you opened my eyes, dude, to what it meant to talk to somebody that was real. Because, like you say, in person. You know, you see me, I don't travel as much as you guys do, but you know what? I have 3 or 4 pictures with Gorilla Rilla. You know what I mean? I have pictures with Joker Raider. You know, I have pictures with other fans. You know, I have pictures of me at other events, the Crab 5 Foundation. I have a picture with Khalil Mack because I volunteered to help the Raider players that came to Texas and threw a free football camp for people. I volunteered. I got out there because you wanted to support, you know, the not only the Raider fans and the future generation of football players, but the Raider Nation, and represent the Raider Nation with pride and poise and a commitment to excellence. I know I say that almost every episode, but it means something, man. That really does mean something. Yeah.
Right.
That's what means something to us, you know. It's just that it's what we know. You know, I've been a fan for 50 years, you know, and that may seem a long time, but I've been a fan for 50 years, you know, and literally I was a fan in my mother's womb because they were fans, you know. They were fans of dad and mom. So that's just something in there deep. That's something in there that I seen, that I had in me. And that's why I go by Loyalty Crew, you know, because that's what we are. We're loyal to what we believe in. We're loyal to Al Davis, and we're loyal to what we do. You know, I don't do stuff just to do it. I do it because that's in me to do, you know. And I appreciate what you said, Michael. It's just that means a lot to me, and it's reciprocated, brother. I love seeing you. You're one of my guys. You know what I'm saying? So it means a lot to me, brother. It really does.
It's my pleasure, Mac, man. You know what I mean? It's you surround yourself with like-minded people, with people that you know that will have your back, people that you know that you can relate to, you know, and it just really is. And you hit it off with them. Like, for instance, Hitman. I got a hold of Hitman. I spoke with him. Man, we were on the phone for over an hour. I was at work, and I just was like, man, I got time for you, bro. And, you know, we talked about some things. You know, we talked about his Hitman, his T-shirt. I love it. I love the graphics. He was telling me, you know, where it came from, that, you know, he's like, yeah, man, this is something I've been working on for a while. He has he put it across to a graphic artist that he knows in California, in L.A. You know, I told him, I said, man, I like what you're doing. I like I like the direction. I like the graphic that you have on there. I told him, I said, you know, you just got to be careful because, you know, there's a lot of people out there. Somebody might claim it for themselves at time, you know, so we talked about that. I went over to trademarking, you know, the process to trademark his thing. And, you know, I shot him an email the other night through the process that I went through when I trademarked my, the One Nation logo that I use, you know, you know, and I explained it to him, the process and what it goes by. I told him, don't worry about, you know, so much about, you need to, you know, protect it. However, what it matters, but people don't realize this, what matters by the, you know, with a trademark is it's not so much about when you trademarked it. They look at when you started having sales behind what you trademark. So those T-shirts that he's selling, you know, if he got to go ahead and protect himself with the trademark, but they're going to look and say, well, you've been using this since this date for selling also. You know what I mean? So that's being taken into consideration. But, you know, him and I, we hit it right off. He turned around, he actually bought one of my Nation hoodies. I sent it out to him, and he loved it, man. He loved it. So, you know, he's an awesome guy. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see him at the Raider Nation explosion. You know, I like the guy as a person, and I like his image of what he's trying to portray as far as with the Raider Nation community.
Cool, man.
Yeah, that's Hitman will be coming on here pretty soon too. I'll talk to him a little bit about him coming on, because like I said, I watched. I had the capability of being out there doing this media thing and watch everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and that's what I did 10 years intelligence and degrees. So that's kind of a gimme thing. So I'm watching everybody, and I've been watching the Hitman, and that's why we brought him in. He's in with the Santa Maria. Over there with us is the Black Hole Santa Maria, and Mike, you're one of the original ones there, guy. You know, so
right.
Well, that's something that I learned. I just happened to learn. So, wow, you know, that to me, it kind of like, wow, okay, geez, I'm always learning something new off you guys. I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, people don't realize it, how tight-knit of a community they are. You know, I've had people come to me and say, oh, yeah, man, I work with this, you know, like we said before, you know, how I did when I talked to you in the first interview. I don't really care for the term superfan, but for lack of a better word, people are like, oh, yeah, I work with this superfan, I work with this superfan. And I'm like, yeah, is that right? But they don't realize that we're all part of the same organization, the same group. And then all it takes is a phone call. Hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? I heard you work with this guy, you know, whatever, you know, saying, hey, what can we do? What do we want to do? We can work together, you know, stuff like that. And people don't realize that this is more than what you read on social media or what you see on social media. There's legitimate relationships behind this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that in order to I wouldn't say be successful, but to be considered as a trustworthy or legitimate person, you got to build those relationships and have those relationships, you know what I'm saying? And unless you really know who these people are, you know, let people, like you say, Mac, you sit there and you observe and you watch and you see people. And I'm sure you've encountered this many a times where you see people that are sitting there and they're trying to build somebody's trust, and they talk. And at first you're like, well, this person might not be that bad, But then after a while you start seeing that they're full of shit, and you're like, this guy's a bullshitter. You know what I mean? And you know, and the thing is, unless you actually have the opportunity to spend the time, the quality time with the people around you, it's tough to recognize the person that's the bullshitter and the people that are genuine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, Mike. Because you know, like you said, I've been blessed to be able to be around, you know, everybody. And like I said, they're out there, bro. They're out there not doing they think they're doing their thing, but to me, selfishness is one of the worst things. You know, one of the worst things that a human can have is to be selfish into their self instead of giving and putting it out there for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? We're all out there trying to do something, but the right reasons to me matter, you know, and that's why I don't go after certain people. And it ain't because I talk to them and this and that, but I don't go to them like I would go to you or go to somebody else, because again, I sat there and studied who Mike's about and watched what Michael's doing and see this or that, or the other super fans. And again, the only reason I say super fans, brother, because I'm trying to identify things. I'm trying to put everybody with the black hole in a certain place. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's many super fans all throughout there, but it's the black hole super fans right now that I want to get the background and what they're about. Some of the stuff that we're talking about that they don't know about. You know, they don't know about this, like Violator. They didn't know some of the stories that me and you probably heard. Even I hear new stuff myself off of Cisco, off, you know, Polo. And I talk to Polo all the time, probably just like you, you know, but there's stuff that he knows that I didn't even know, you know. So I'm learning too, brother. And that's why I wanted to put the show together too, you know.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And you know, when Homer put it out that that you and him were working on some things, I was kind of excited about that. I was like, you know what, that the more people that you can get involved in something that that you have a reputation with, that legitimizes things. You know what I'm saying? It makes a solid foundation that you could build off of. You know, so definitely was happy to hear that you guys are working on some stuff. So that's great, man. I look forward to it.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I really do, Mike. You know, and you stopping by just kind of made my night here. You know what I'm saying? It's
Boom.
Whoa.
Raider Nation.
Homer didn't tell me nothing.
Call me off guard. Call me off guard. I wasn't ready for it, but you know, I was like, you know what? I'm over here with you guys. You know, this is unscripted, so hey,
Exactly.
it is what it is. It's coming from the heart. Then you know what I mean.
Right.
If it's unscripted, you're just sitting there, you're saying what exactly how you feel, what's in your heart, what's on your mind. And you know what? And I'll be honest with you guys, this is a really comfortable conversation. I don't feel, you know, hey, do I got to watch myself? What do you mean by that? Or whatever, anything like that. This is a normal conversation, whether it was recorded or not, whether it was for a show or not. This could just be three guys bullshitting, just, you know, drinking a beer, relaxing, and talking about Raider Nation, Raider football, Raider fans, or whatever. You know, this is really comfortable. So I think that's a difference. That's what I'm talking about legitimizing a project is if you're feeling comfortable with it and you can be yourself, and that's important.
That's exactly what I told Homer. I want to make it as comfortable and everybody come in and just feel comfortable with talking to Raider Homer and I. You know, it's just like that's the way we want it, just like this, bro. And we're able to get that so far. So I hope that continues. And I know it will because the people we bring in, you know, somebody knows them. Michael knows them. You know, Paulo knows them. You know, Cisco. You know, we all in one way have that connection. And that's a beautiful connection, buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we've all talked, I mean, in the past. So, yeah, that's what makes it, you know, easy is that we are developing those relationships. You know, we are getting to know each other and we're getting comfortable and trusting each other because, you know, there's a lot of things that we've talked about that will never hit the air. You know what I mean? And so, and that's what it's about, man. Protecting your family, you know, making sure that we all understand where we're coming from and what we're going through and knowing and developing trust and keeping that trust, you know?
Oh, most definitely. That's the bottom line right there. That's above and beyond everything else is, you know, as long as you have that trust and you're like, hey, you know what? We need to talk. Boom, we talk. We say what's on our mind, but you know there might be some other things like you said, like hey, this is just us talking, not for the show, not for anything,
right.
You know, and we have that. Everybody, we have that understanding, you know, and that's important, man. It really is, you know. But like I said, man, this has been a natural conversation that you would just have with anybody, just three guys getting together, just talking about Raider Nation,
smashing it up.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to let you go, Mike, and I'll get you that information to Splatterhead. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all your help. Hey, but you know what, dude? I haven't forgot, man. I still want to get with JR60 Brand. You know what I mean? I want to get on there. You know, I want a shirt, a Raider Homer shirt or something, you know?
Hey, man, I sent you the drawing for the tablecloth.
Right.
We got it. You just let me know. And I'll get with my guy, and we can have it on. We can have it. I was going to ask. I didn't know if you wanted to do it. You wanted it for the Raider Nation Explosion or not. I didn't know if you were setting up there, and if you wanted to have it for that event.
Well, now I mean in future events, but yeah, I'm still getting all that together, you know. But yeah, I just saw those badass tablecloths and wanted one, dude. You know, with the Raider.
Yeah, I just want one that put in my wall. You know what I'm saying? I'll hang that stuff.
I'll put it on my computer desk for now.
My son's leaving to college, so yeah, he's leaving to college, so that leaves me a room open. I'm going to develop that room. You know.
Yeah. You know what though? This is real life. I got my table. I got a 6-foot table. It's sitting in my dining room. My shop, my workshop, my office is right here in front of me as I'm talking to you right now. I got my tablecloth on there, my One Nation tablecloth, JR60 tablecloth on there, and I got when I got back from my vacation, I had about 15, 20 different orders I had to ship out today. So I had to come home. When I got home, I put it all together, but my workshop is sitting right here in front of me. And one thing I can say about the thing with the tablecloth, man, that's one of the, out of everything that I have available, I like that more than anything else because it's very impactful. If you're a booster club, or if you're tailgating, or if you're anything, if you want something to give you a professional look, something that's going to actually, pretty much put you out there and say, yo, this is real life right here. This is what I'm doing. This is my passion. Get you a professional looking setup. Nobody could beat my price on any of them. All right.
I guarantee you.
Second of all, the quality. And the quality.
Hard. Yeah, they're nice, man. I want to. So I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. It's
all sublimation, man. It's so the graphics are part of the material, so you don't have to worry about it flaking off. It's quality, man, and I guarantee nobody could beat the price on it. Nobody could, and nobody could beat the quality on it. And the turnaround time, I can get it. I can do the rush orders and rush deliveries if I have to. But like I said, that's probably one thing that I was happy with, man. When Infamous B-Lock Crew got there, Toro got his, man. And just a private conversation that I had with him, he was blown away. He said I exceeded his expectation. There was no way that he thought it was going to. I can't wait for him to show it off. The tablecloth Fabian uses when he sets up at his events came from me. So that's another thing. And even Raider Cody, his podcast, I made his podcast.
Yeah.
Well, so these are things I'm proud of, man. These are things that I want to make it impactful for you to represent yourself, in a professional manner. And in turn, the byproduct of that is like, man, this guy, he hooked you up. He did a good job for you.
JR60 Brands. Check it out, Raider Nation. Get some. Get there. This guy's authentic. This guy has been around. Joker Raider is the real deal. You get there. You go to jr60brands.com. And, like he says, man, good price, high quality. I have a shirt. I got the bracelet for my little girl. All that's lasted. I can definitely back up, the quality of JR60 Brands.
I appreciate that. And I think what's important to me is the fact that I don't need the JR60 brand to be on the map, to be, to be legitimate. I don't need that to, I legitimize myself with who I am as a person. You know what I mean?
It's just an extension, baby. That's all that
exactly.
is.
Yeah. Oh, and the people who have the misconception, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to get rich. The One Nation brand is, like I told you earlier, Homer, on the first episode, man, this One Nation is about us coming together. It's not me personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if when that's One Nation and it has that shield around, that's Raider Nation. That's One Nation is Raider Nation. So, man, if you don't see that shield around One Nation, then you know it's not legit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about.
Awesome,
bro. All right, cool,
awesome.
Bro. We're coming up on 2 hours and 10 minutes, man. So we should probably let this conversation go because, man, it was a special surprise and it was a good one, man.
It was, brother. I'm gonna have to talk to you, Mike. I'll call you here sometime this week.
Sounds good, man. I look forward to it, Max. Homer, I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for having me on, and it's great talking to you as always, Max. Man, I enjoy our conversation, and it means a lot to me.
It definitely does here too, brother. Peace.
All right, guys.
Later, bro.
Bye.
Now, Homer, you got me this time. You got me this time. I got you last time. Now you got me with my boy, Raider Joker. Man, I'm getting chills over here, bro.
Hey, this is how we do it on the Coast to Coast, the Black Hole Superfans show, right? This is how we do it.
That's right.
We're just getting started, man. We're just getting started, Raider Nation. We're gonna get this figured out. We're gonna get it running smoother. Don't worry about it. We're always gonna have the guests be able to come back on. We're like we say, we're all one nation. So I appreciate you, Max. Great show tonight. Take it easy, brother.
And I have something I always say, brother. I've said it for years. I want everybody to be safe, be blessed, and always be real to yourself and others, brother. I've said it for years. Go on my thing. I say it all the time. and I really mean it. Appreciate it, Homer.
No problem.